2 minutes ago, the news about Roe versus Wade just came out, and like, I'm in shock right now, and I don't know how to make this video. I'm so sad. I need to pull it together though. Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Welcome if you're new, welcome if you've been here, but I haven't been here. I'm so sorry. I have moved to London. This is our brand new flat in London. I'm absolutely in love and I cannot wait to start sharing content with you again. And I have so much to share. First of all, white bookshelves. I got rid of the black ones. It's a whole new arrangement. Please don't judge the books right now because I have no idea what I'm doing with them. I don't know how to display them. I just move them around all the time for photos, for Instagram and stuff, and they're a hot mess, and I just need to do a complete redo of them. My husband Christian and I are talking about doing a rainbow bookshelf, which I've never done before because I like things grouped together in series and like vibe and aesthetic. So I don't know, but it's not working for me right now. So I just put some pretty books in the back of this video. Yeah, that's what we got going on today. If we haven't met before, my name is Ragan. I make bookish content here on the internet. I'm on Instagram and TikTok now as @RagansReads, and then of course here on YouTube. And if you have been here waiting for me, thank you for waiting for the last 7 months. Life has been hard. Life's been hard, and I'm finally in a really good place right now. I'm in my dream city. I've wanted to live here my entire life. My husband has an amazing job. I'm currently looking for work, but that's fine because I'm here like on YouTube making book videos and reading books all day, so we're good. So a few months ago, I was feeling really low and I just wanted to be comforted, and I put down all my books. I was reading Daughter of the Moon Goddess at the time, and I was just like, you know what, I'm not feeling this. I need something to make me feel better, you know? So I decided to reread A Court of Thorns Roses. And now I've been putting this off for years because book 2, Court of Mist and Fury, Rhysand, favorite book of all time up till now. That's kind of changed, my favorite book. But I didn't want to reread it because I didn't want to be disappointed. I didn't want my feelings to change. But no worries, I'm so glad that I reread them, and I picked them up and I binged them for the last like 5-6 weeks, and just enjoyed them again and took notes and quotes and was able to piece together like from book 1 to 5 what Sarah J Maas was weaving through it. Like, I love it. Okay, so today's video is really special to me because I have been wanting to do this for a long time, but didn't really know how to like get started with it. And that is, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts with you today on the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J Maas. It's been a long time coming. I read these books like years ago. I think, yeah, I read the first 2 books before the third one even came out. So I'm gonna have to do a date check on that. Here's the date. So I've never shared my thoughts about these books like in depth at all. Everyone knows that I love them and my favorite books of all time, but I've never like talked about why, and I feel like today's the day to do it. So this is going to be a spoilery video, but if you've not read all the books, that's fine. I have chapters linked down below, like you can scroll through the video. So if you've read the first 2 books, read the third one and then come back and catch up on the third one. We'll chat about it. So this is my reread, and also the first time I'm like actually sharing with you all my thoughts, where I think the series is going, why I love it, what I don't like about it, why I understand why some people don't like it. I get that these books and Sarah J Maas is not for everyone, but she is for me. She is my fantasy queen. I absolutely adore her works. Fun fact though, I've not finished the Throne of Glass series. I will. Sip from my Coke here. All right, let's start with book 1, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now, I originally read the first 4 books, 3 plus the novella, in the original covers, and those are back in America. But here in England, I have the new covers. I hated these at first. I put off buying them, but my heart has changed. I've become more open to them, and now I really do like them, and I understand what they've done with the covers and why they rebranded for adults, because it goes from YA, which this book is definitely YA, and then it moves up into adult, like sexy time content. So I understand why they needed to do a rebrand. So let's start with The Court of Thorns and Roses. If you've not read this book, you need to, one, go read it and then come back and chat with me about it, because you're gonna be spoiled here. But if you've not read this book, it's claimed to be a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Now, before I reread it, I completely argued against that to people on Instagram. I was like, it's not a retelling, it's not Beauty and the Beast. And now that I reread it, I was like, yeah, it's a little bit of a retelling. She was definitely inspired by it. The Court of Thorns Roses book 1 is very whimsical. Has a classic fairy tale-esque theme and layout to it. You have, a poor family, a deceased mother. You have Feyre, who is in a grimy little disheveled hut going and hunting for food, and then she kills the wolf and she is whisked off by a fairy to a masked ball. And it's not a masked ball, what am I saying? This is not Beauty and the Beast. A masked house, mansion, manor, I don't know. So it definitely is inspired by Beauty and the Beast. But where I'm getting with this is that the tone of voice in this book definitely shifts from book 1 and 2. I knew that before, but reading it again, oh my gosh, there's a massive difference. Wouldn't you agree? This feels so YA fairy tale, and then book 2, it's like, oh, just kidding, we are in this completely new world, and it's sexy, and it's dark, and who the fuck is Tamlin? We don't even want to talk about him anymore. One of the biggest thoughts that I had while rereading this book that was different the first time is that I didn't read this as a romance. The first time I read A Court of Thorns Roses, I was like, this is a romance. And then of course in book 2, when Rhysand comes along, I realized that we're switching love interests, of course, and I was totally on board for that. But rereading this, I recognize that it's not a romance. It really is the gateway into the romance with Rhysand, and we spend most of the time, the second half of the book, I'm not sure what page exactly we start on it, but we start, I don't know, Tamlin's about halfway, maybe 3/4 of the book. He's the primary guy, but then he's away with Amaranthia, and he's just chilling in the background, not doing shit for Feyre. And Rhysand's there, and those are the conversations that we're having and that we're seeing. So I definitely read this in a new way. I don't have too much more to say about this book because it's an introduction book. You're getting into the world of Prynthian, but one thing that I really did like was the introduction of Nesta's character, because of course we've all read these books, and by the end of A Court of Silver Flames we see how far she's come, and I really liked being introduced to her again in this book, because when I originally read the books I detested Nesta, and having read A Court of Silver Flames and then going back and rereading this, it was really interesting to see how Sarah J Maas went with her arc. And Sarah J Maas is so clever, in my opinion. She really weaves things. She knew where the story was going with Nesta. She knew where she wanted to go with Feyre. And 5 books down the line, you can see where she got there, how she got there, because it's in this book. And I, really enjoyed it. Okay, book 2, A Court of Mist and Fury, my baby. I have loved this book for years since I read it. So when did it come out? I read it after it was published. This was published in 2016, so I must have read it in 2017, I think, at the beginning of 2017, right before the 3rd book came out. And oh my god, I love Rhysand for all the reasons that everyone loves Rhysand. He's sexy, he's strong, he's smart, he's empowering, he's, the biggest thing since sliced bread in this world, and then he's taking care of Feyre, and I modeled my husband after him. I was like, I'm gonna marry someone like Rhysand, and I did marry him. My husband always makes fun of me for reading these books. He says oh, are you reading those fairy books again? Oh, are you what is the Bat Boys? And he makes funny jokes about it, but I'm like, I really did marry you, and you're Rhysand, so it's a compliment to you that I love these books. One side character that I loved reading about this time was the Serial, or the Surreal, I'm not quite sure how to say it. I really liked that, and I loved going back to the Weaver's Hut, the creepiness of it. I love exploring all of these side characters and these different little places that Sarah J Maas has infused into her stories, for sure. Okay, chapter 55 hits the spot. It didn't hit the spot as good as the first time I read it because I was like, I was craving for Rhysand and Feyre to like finally get together, if you know what I mean. But I knew it was coming in this time, and I still loved reading it. Like, I still love chapter 55. If you don't know what chapter 55 is, please go read this book and then come back after chapter 55. But amazing. And I finally understand the cover. I did not understand why we had this like raven going on with a wedding ring, and now I get it. Like, that's Feyre's engagement ring, and Rhysand, he has like the raven feather crown sometimes and stuff, so I understand it now. Okay, there's not much more to say on the first two books because I feel like my feelings haven't changed about them very much. I loved them. I could see the story kind of coming through and like see where it was taking us with the next few books. This one, however, A Court of Wings and Ruin, book 3, I had a lot more thoughts on. A lot more thoughts, because I forgot about basically the last 200 pages of this book. So much goes down. So much goes down. Like, we're introduced to all these new characters that have not been, like, their storylines aren't done yet at all. And they didn't finish in the next two books, the novella or Court of Silver Flames. Like, when is Sarah J Maas going to get to this? This came out in 2017, I believe, so it's been 5 years. Yeah, 2017. So we're introduced to all these side characters and other like countries and lands to explore, and a lot of plots are started but they have not been finished. So where are they? Like, when is that coming back? Because I need to know. Specifically with like Miriam, Lord Grayson, the Draken, the Seraphim, like all these things. Vasa, Queen Vasa, like, she's a whole character that we just need to know more about. I mean, she started so much here, so I know she's going somewhere with this, but when are we gonna find out? Also, we love the hot pink. I will say that with this book, there are two things that I still did not care for. This was and remains my least favorite book of the series for a few reasons. One is that it wraps up too nicely. It's too much in a pretty bow. Like, I just wanted Amryn to die. I love her, but she needed to die and stay dead. She needed to die. I needed to cry. I cried when Azriel died, but someone needs to die and stay dead in this book. Also, I still think maybe Feyre should have died in Court of Silver Flames. Don't hate me for it. Do not hate me for it. I think she should die. I think that she should have died because then it would have ripped my heart out and I would have been really emotional about it. But she didn't, but it's fine. Have a baby, it's fine. But I think Amryn should have died in this book. Also, I'm not a huge fan of the romance plot with Mor. I just think it has been done in a really messy way, and I felt like Sarah J Maas was going with Mor's romance in one direction for so long, and then she just decided, oh, actually, I'm gonna completely change it, and I'm gonna have her go for this character in an upcoming book. So she just goes on like a 2-page monologue about why she is not attracted to Azriel, which is fine, but that should have been weaved in more artistically in the previous 2 books, in my opinion. It just felt like sad, and it didn't feel realistic, especially for someone who's been alive for over 500 years. Like, suddenly Feyre is like this expert and can just like see through all of Mor's lies. That is one thing that Feyre bothers me. Let me rephrase that. That is one thing that bothers me about Feyre. She's so good at everything. And I know that people who hate on this series do point that out a lot. Like, Feyre is an artist and she's always saving everyone, and she's a hunter and she has all these powers and she's always doing right, can't do any wrong. I get it. I see it. I recognize it. I understand. It bothers me a little bit too. I want her to be more flawed, but here we are. Feyre saves the day. Feyre Cursebreaker. I got this Coca-Cola glass from the new London Coca-Cola like pop-up shop. It's super bougie. I love it. Okay, this might surprise you, but this novella, A Court of Frost Starlight, is probably the book I have the most to say about. This is the most controversial book, and when I read it, I gave it 2 stars, and on Goodreads I said, what was the point of this? I'm pretty sure that's what I said. If it's not what I said, here's what I said. Something along those lines. I did not like it. I did not understand it. I thought it was pointless. However, upon rereading it, I have changed my mind. It is a 5-star read. I think Sarah J Maas was really clever with this, actually. She said that it was supposed to be like a Hallmark Christmas movie, but you know, we're with the gang here at a snowball fight, which I thought was ridiculous in the first read of this book. But now I'm like, thank God, we've just gone to war. Everyone's died. Rhysand died and came back to life. Aaron died and came back to life. But now we can all just hang around a fire and exchange presents and gossip about Tamlin and throw snowballs. And I was here for it. Also, this was the bridge between the trilogy and then Nesta and Cassian's story continuing forward. It was really well done. I thought that she introduced Nesta's depression and PTSD and stress and self-loathing in this book in a really smart way, and I thought Feyre just like did not understand and continues to not understand in the next book. I really liked this. It was super short. Again, it was like 230 some odd pages, and probably the best like novella I've read. I just think it was really well done. I don't like the sunflower. I don't understand the sunflower on this. I think it should be like a snowflake or something because it takes place in like a fake Christmas era, but it was really good. I enjoyed it. Okay, so my baby, A Court of Silver Flames. This is the original book that I used to read the book. It was a gift to me from a friend off of Instagram, and it's really special to me. I've read it so much now that the literal spine has come out, and it has tear stains and coffee marks and food fingerprints, and I love it. I do have a signed edition. I also have a Waterstones exclusive edition, which is really cute. And then I have a signed Sarah J Maas edition that my husband gave me. But I read with this one again. I just love reading hardback books. And I like that it's cracked open because I can just do this and it just kind of like stays. I don't have to worry about breaking it because it's already broken. But I love this book. And I think that this is my favorite book of the whole series. And that's for two reasons. One, I read this originally at a time where I, again, was struggling, and I saw a lot of my struggles in Nesta, and that really resonated with me, and I read this book in 2 days. And I love Sarah J Maas taking us into the spicy adult world. I really love the smut. It was a little bit overdone, but then like it wasn't done enough, you know what I mean? I'm left wondering at the end of this book whether or not the next book will have to deal with Elaine and her like coming powers as a seer and her relationship with Azriel, which I am still pro Lucian. Always have been, always will be. I love the idea of fated mates. I love that. I want Azriel to be happy, of course, but like with Gwen, you know. Any other fans out there, let me know in the comments below who you want Elaine to end up with. And let me just tell you, Elaine is my least favorite character. She's super annoying. She just minches off of everyone. Is minch a word? Munch? Minch? Mooches. She mooches off of everyone. She's a moocher. Who's ever feeding her, who's ever brushing her hair, whoever is taking care of her, she's gonna stick around with them. And I saw that very clearly, and Nesta points it out in this book, and I'm like, you're right, girl, you're a bitch, but you're right, you're so right. Elaine is boring to me, and Nesta calls her boring, and Elaine cries about it, but I'm like, you are boring, you're a little bit boring, you're boring to read about, and you're just like, you don't do enough. Like, you have two sisters out here just absolutely killing it and slaying. Nesta has death powers, and Feyre, like, has conquered death, so yeah, so there's a lot of plot left to be discovered. Like, we have to move to the human realms and go to like the mainlands and deal with the Weaver and Bone Carver's like brother Koshi, I think is what his name is, and Vasta and Lucian and what is his name? I'm thinking of Jurian. Yeah, there's a plot there that I want to know. When are we getting another book? When are we getting another book? I'm definitely rambling in this vlog, but I just have feelings. I don't even have words to describe how much I love this series. I just have feelings. I'm trying to like just express my feelings to you. about this book. If I'm being really picky and being like a reviewer, I would say that some bits in this book are a bit cheesy, like the three going up the mountain just like the three Bat Boys did, you know, it's just a little bit too tidy again, I would say. Sarah J Maas definitely likes happy endings, but I just want a little bit more, like, rip my heart out, and maybe she will. I would not be surprised if, like, we get to however many books are in the series, hopefully 25, but they're probably only like 2 or 3 more, and someone is dead. Please just kill someone. Not Rhysand though. Not Rhysand, not Cassian. Cassian is such an angel in this book. Please tell me if you had to pick, if you got either one, or I guess we could do 3. I wouldn't choose Azriel because I don't think we know enough about him. He's not as sexy. He's a little bit too shy for me. But would you do Azriel, Cassian, or Rhysand? If you could have your pick of the boys, which one would it be? I think, actually this is really hard. Who would I do? I mean, Rhysand is the king of all kings, basically, and he should become the king. You remember that plot in this? About him potentially becoming the king of all the fairies? Would love to see it, but I don't think it'll happen. We have Rhysand, who has all these powers, and we have Cassian, who really needs to have a little bit more of a backbone, because he always talks about himself being a bastard, but like, you are the strongest warrior ever with like all these siphons, so like, just be a little bit tougher. But I love that, and he really just reaches out his hand to Nesta all the time, and I love it. Okay, I think I would choose Cassian. This was really just me gushing over this series and like not giving you a lot of context, but I love it and I had to talk about it, and it's the perfect series to get me out of what I was going through. And now moving forward, I can finally read. You're gonna kill me. I have not read House of Sky and Breath yet, and that's for a few reasons. One, I thought I needed to reread House of Earth and Blood, but I struggled with the first 600 pages of that book. It just kind of dragged too much for me. It's fine. I'm reading a summary online, and then I'm going to get into this, which is a little bit cheating, I know, but I really want to read this. I just didn't care for Bryce as much as like Feyre, but I will get to it, and it's going to be a reading vlog. I'm going to do a reading vlog of it, and I'm just going to give myself like 1 week to just focus in on just this book, not worry about like outside things that are happening in my life, and just like read a book and just enjoy it. So yeah, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button, like, share, do all the things. Comment down below a bat for our boys, our Bat Boys, if you watch this entire video, so I know. And let me know who your favorite character is in this series and who is your least favorite character. I don't think I'm the only one who dislikes Elaine, but Tamlin, yeah, we dislike Tamlin. He's a melt, as my husband would say with his British slang. He's just a melt, just like let him go away. So I don't like him either, but Elaine is my least favorite. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for letting me just like vent out all of my feelings of love and adoration for this series, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye.